Camilla lived in a small, peaceful town. Her house was surrounded by flowers and tall trees. Birds sang every morning and children played in the narrow streets nearby. Camilla's family was kind and cheerful. Her father worked as a teacher and her mother ran a small bakery that everyone loved. Camilla had always enjoyed the simple life of her town, but she also dreamed of something bigger. From a young age, she had been fascinated by stories of the royal family and the palace. She imagined the grand halls, sparkling chandeliers, and gardens full of colorful flowers. She wished she could meet the king and see the palace in person. One morning, Camilla woke up with a heart full of excitement. Today was special. She and her family had received an invitation to visit the royal palace. Camilla could hardly believe it. She had spent so many days imagining this moment, and now it was real. She jumped out of bed and ran to her parents. "Mother, Father, it's today. We are going to the palace," she exclaimed. Her parents smiled, sharing her excitement. They all knew how much this visit meant to Camilla, and they wanted to make it a day she would never forget. After breakfast, they packed carefully. Camilla made sure her dress was neat and her hair tidy. Her father checked the invitation several times, making sure they had all the details correct. Her mother packed a small basket of gifts and a letter they had prepared for the king. Camilla watched every movement with anticipation. The journey to the palace was not long, but it felt like it took forever. Every minute on the road was filled with nervous excitement. When they finally arrived, the palace looked even more magnificent than Camilla had imagined. Tall stone walls surrounded the grounds, and the gates were decorated with intricate carvings. Guards in shining uniforms stood at attention, their faces serious and proud. The air seemed to shimmer with the history and importance of the place. Camilla held her mother's hand tightly as they approached the main gate. She could feel her heart beating faster. She had dreamt of this moment for so long, and now she was about to step inside the royal palace. But their excitement was met with an unexpected challenge. As they reached the gate, a tall guard stepped forward. His uniform was spotless and his posture was perfect. He looked down at Camilla and her family with a stern expression. "I am sorry," he said in a firm voice. "Entry is not permitted." Camilla froze. Her heart sank. She looked at her parents in shock. "But we have an invitation," her father said, holding up the folded letter. The guard shook his head. "I cannot allow you to enter. Please wait here until further instructions." Confusion and worry filled Camilla's mind. She could see other visitors walking past them without any trouble, smiling and greeting the guards. Why were they being stopped? Her mother tried to stay calm, placing a hand on Camilla's shoulder. "It must be a mistake," she whispered. "We just need to be patient." Camilla took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. She had dreamed of this visit for years, and now it felt as if her dream was slipping away. She looked at the guard again. "Please, sir," she said softly. "We have prepared a letter and gifts for the king. It is very important to us." The guard remained firm. "I understand, young lady, but I cannot allow you to enter without proper verification. Please wait here." His tone was polite, but there was no room for argument. Camilla's shoulders slumped and she felt a tear rise in her eye. She had not expected such a challenge. Her father tried again to explain, and her mother gently suggested they stay calm, but the guard did not change his mind. As they waited, Camilla noticed a smaller side gate nearby. It was less crowded, and a few attendants were moving in and out. She wondered if they could find help there. She approached cautiously, hoping someone would listen. A kind-looking attendant noticed her and smiled gently. "Hello, do you need assistance?" the attendant asked. Camilla explained everything in a steady voice, even though her hands trembled slightly. "We have an invitation, but the guard at the main gate would not let us in." "We only want to meet the king and show our respect," she said. The attendant listened carefully, nodding as she spoke. After a moment, the attendant said, "Sometimes mistakes happen. Let me speak to the king's office and see if we can sort this out." Camilla's eyes brightened with hope. She held her mother's hand and felt a small surge of courage. Perhaps this was not the end of their visit after all. While waiting, Camilla's father shared stories with her about the palace. He explained how the royal family had contributed to the country, and how meeting the king was a rare opportunity. Camilla listened closely, trying to calm her anxious heart. Her mother gave her a gentle smile and whispered, "Be patient, Camilla. Things will work out." Minutes felt like hours as they waited. Camilla kept looking toward the main gate, hoping to see someone return with good news. Her mind wandered to all the things she wanted to say to the king. She imagined greeting him politely, giving him the letter, and presenting the small gifts they had carefully chosen. Every detail of this moment had been planned in her head for weeks, and now it was almost within reach. Finally, the attendant returned, her face glowing with a reassuring smile. "The king is willing to see you," she announced. Camilla's heart leapt. She could hardly believe her ears. The obstacle at the gate had been resolved, and their visit was finally going to happen. She turned to her parents, who were smiling with relief. "We can go inside," she exclaimed, barely containing her excitement. Camilla felt a mixture of nervousness and joy as they followed the attendant through the palace corridors. The walls were adorned with golden frames, paintings of previous kings and queens, and tall mirrors that reflected the sunlight streaming through the windows. Every step they took seemed to bring them closer to a dream that had felt almost impossible just minutes ago. Her mind was filled with questions and curiosity. How would the king react to their gifts? What stories would he share? Camilla's excitement was matched by her parents' pride. They had faced a challenge, and now their perseverance was about to be rewarded. As they walked deeper into the palace, Camilla noticed the grandeur of the place. The floors were polished to a shine, the chandeliers sparkled like captured stars, and the soft sound of music drifted through the halls. It was more beautiful than she had ever imagined. She held her mother's hand tightly, feeling a mixture of awe and gratitude. Finally, they reached a large room where the king was waiting. Camilla's heart raced, and a sense of nervousness took over for a moment. She had dreamed of this moment for so long, and now it was real. She took a deep breath, straightened her posture, and stepped forward with her family by her side. The king smiled warmly at them. "Welcome," he said. "I understand there was some confusion at the gate. I am glad you are here now." Camilla felt a rush of relief and happiness. Even though the royal guard had initially denied them entry, persistence and honesty had brought them here. She knew that this visit would be a memory she would cherish forever. Her parents looked proud, and Camilla felt a sense of accomplishment she had never felt before. As the king gestured for them to sit, Camilla realized that this was only the beginning of a special day. She could not wait to share her respect, her story, and her gifts. More than anything, she felt grateful for the chance to experience the palace, meet the king, and show that courage and sincerity could overcome even the most unexpected obstacles. Camilla's heart was still racing as she stepped into the palace corridors. Every wall, every painting, and every polished floor spoke of history and elegance. The grandeur of the palace was beyond anything she had ever imagined. She felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Her parents walked beside her, their faces showing pride and joy. After the challenge at the gate, they had not expected to reach this point so quickly. Yet here they were, moving closer to a dream that had seemed almost impossible just a short while ago. The attendant who had guided them smiled warmly. "This way, please," she said, leading them through a quieter hallway. Camilla noticed small details along the way. There were carved wooden doors, golden handles, and soft carpets that muffled their footsteps. Servants moved gracefully, carrying trays of refreshments or arranging flowers. Camilla's eyes widened at every corner. She wanted to absorb everything, remembering it for a lifetime. "Are you nervous, Camilla?" her mother asked gently. "A little," Camilla admitted, clutching her mother's hand. "I have dreamed of this for so long. I just hope we can make a good impression." "You already have," her father said. "What matters is that we are sincere and respectful. That is always remembered." Camilla nodded, taking a deep breath to calm herself. She knew her parents were right. The palace was magnificent, but kindness and honesty mattered more than appearances. She straightened her dress and continued walking, determined to do her best. The attendant led them to a small waiting room near the main hall. Soft chairs lined the walls and sunlight streamed through tall windows. A few visitors were already there, but they gave space to Camilla's family, sensing the importance of their visit. Camilla sat down, trying to remain calm. Her hands fidgeted in her lap as she thought about the letter and the gifts they had brought. Her mother spoke quietly. "Remember, Camilla, we are here to show respect. That is all. The rest will follow naturally." Camilla nodded, but her mind could not stop racing. What if the king did not like their gifts? What if he found the letter unimportant? These thoughts made her stomach tighten. Her father noticed her worry and smiled reassuringly. "It is not about the gifts, Camilla. It is about your sincerity. That is what truly matters to anyone, even the king." While they waited, Camilla observed the room carefully. The walls were decorated with portraits of previous rulers and their families. Each painting seemed to tell a story. Camilla imagined the people in the paintings coming to life, smiling and welcoming her family. She even thought she could hear faint whispers of history from the frames. The palace felt alive, as if it remembered everyone who had visited before. After some time, the attendant returned. Her face had a bright smile and her eyes held encouragement. "The king is ready to receive you," she said. Camilla's heart leapt with joy. She stood up quickly, nearly forgetting to straighten her dress. Her parents rose too, and together they followed the attendant through a long corridor. The closer they came to the main hall, the more Camilla noticed the grandeur. Tall columns lined the hallway, and the ceiling was painted with intricate designs of skies and landscapes. Light reflected off golden ornaments, and the soft sound of footsteps echoed around them. Camilla's excitement grew with each step. She could almost feel the anticipation of the king waiting ahead. Finally, the doors of the main hall opened, revealing King Charles standing gracefully. His face was kind and welcoming, his eyes calm and observant. Camilla felt a mixture of nervousness and awe. She had dreamt of this moment for years, and now it was finally happening. The king's voice was gentle as he spoke. "Welcome. I understand there was a misunderstanding at the gate, but I am glad you are here now." Camilla's parents smiled, relieved that the king had acknowledged the difficulty they faced. Camilla felt a rush of warmth. She knew that their sincerity and patience had brought them here. She stepped forward with her gifts and letter, holding them carefully in both hands. Her father encouraged her quietly. "Go ahead, Camilla. You will do fine." Taking a deep breath, Camilla handed the letter to the king. "Your Majesty," she said softly, "we prepared this letter and some gifts as a token of our respect. We hope you will accept them." The king took the letter with a smile and opened it. He read carefully, nodding as he went through the words. Camilla felt a little nervous watching his expression. Her heart pounded in her chest. Every word of the letter mattered to her, and she wanted it to be appreciated. After a moment, the king looked up and smiled warmly. "This is very thoughtful," he said. "I can see that it comes from the heart. Thank you for taking the time to prepare it." Camilla's shoulders relaxed slightly and a smile spread across her face. Her parents exchanged a glance, proud of how gracefully she had handled the situation. The gifts they had brought were placed carefully on a nearby table, and the king inspected them with interest. "I am very pleased with your thoughtfulness," the king continued. "It is clear that you and your family hold respect and kindness in high regard. These qualities are always remembered." Camilla felt a mixture of relief and pride. Even though the visit had started with a challenge at the gate, their persistence and honesty had carried them forward. She realized that sincerity and patience were more important than anything else. The king gestured for them to follow him to another room, a space filled with light and large windows overlooking the palace gardens. Camilla's eyes widened at the sight. The gardens were vast, filled with blooming flowers, green lawns, and fountains that sparkled in the sunlight. Birds flew across the gardens, singing as they went. The beauty of the scene took her breath away. "This is wonderful," Camilla whispered, unable to contain her excitement. The king smiled. "The gardens are a place of peace and reflection. I am glad you enjoy them." Camilla walked slowly, taking in every detail. She noticed the different kinds of flowers and plants, each carefully arranged. Butterflies danced above the flowers, and the sound of water from the fountains added a soft melody to the scene. Her parents walked beside her, sharing her admiration. As they explored, the king began to talk to them about the history of the palace and the family. He shared stories of past rulers, traditions, and the importance of kindness and service to others. Camilla listened carefully, fascinated by every word. She realized that the palace was not just a building. It was a place filled with stories, memories, and lessons. The king then asked about their lives in the town. Camilla's father spoke about his work as a teacher and the small joys of their community. Her mother shared stories of her bakery and how they enjoyed helping others. Camilla added her own thoughts, speaking about her dreams and love for learning. The king listened attentively, asking questions and encouraging them to share more. Camilla felt a warmth in her heart. She had feared that their visit might be awkward or disappointing, but the king's kindness made everything easier. She realized that people, no matter how important, appreciated honesty, respect, and a genuine heart. After some time, the king invited them to sit and enjoy refreshments. They were served tea and small pastries, and Camilla could not help but smile at the thoughtfulness of the gesture. It was a moment of calm and joy, a break from the nervousness they had felt earlier. As they sipped their tea and talked with the king, Camilla felt a sense of gratitude. The journey to the palace had been full of challenges, but it had also been a lesson. She had learned that patience, sincerity, and courage could overcome obstacles. She felt proud of herself and her family. By the end of their conversation, Camilla knew that this visit would stay with her forever. The palace had given her more than she had imagined. It had given her memories, lessons, and a deeper understanding of respect and kindness. She had faced a challenge, spoken from her heart, and experienced a moment she would treasure always. Camilla followed the attendant and her parents through the palace corridors with her heart beating faster than ever. Every step brought her closer to the king, and every moment made her more nervous. The walls of the corridor were decorated with large paintings of past rulers and significant events. Camilla paused briefly to admire them, imagining the people in the paintings moving and speaking. Her parents smiled at her wonder, knowing that she had always been fascinated by history. The attendant opened a large golden door, revealing a grand room bathed in sunlight. Tall windows framed the view of the palace gardens, and the polished floors reflected the light in a warm glow. Camilla's breath caught in her throat. She had imagined the palace many times, but seeing it in person was overwhelming. Every detail seemed perfect, every corner carefully arranged, and yet it felt welcoming, not intimidating. Standing near the center of the room was King Charles. He looked calm and approachable, his expression kind and patient. Camilla's nerves spiked, but she reminded herself to stay composed. She took a deep breath, straightened her back, and walked forward with her family following closely. "Welcome," the king said in a gentle voice. "I understand there was a misunderstanding at the gate, but I am pleased that you have arrived." Camilla's parents nodded respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty," her father said. "We appreciate your kindness in receiving us despite the confusion." The king smiled and gestured toward a small table near the center of the room. "Please present your letter and gifts. I am eager to see them." Camilla stepped forward, holding the envelope and small items carefully. Her hands trembled slightly, but she managed to speak clearly. "Your Majesty, we have brought a letter and a few gifts as a token of our respect. We hope you will accept them." The king took the letter with a polite nod. He opened it slowly and read each word with attention. Camilla's heart raced as she waited for his reaction. She glanced at her parents, who gave her reassuring smiles. Her mother whispered softly, "You are doing wonderfully, Camilla. Just speak from your heart." After a moment, the king looked up, his eyes kind and thoughtful. "This letter is very thoughtful," he said. "It shows sincerity and respect, which are far more important than the gifts themselves." Camilla exhaled quietly, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. The king carefully examined the gifts, handling them with respect. "These are charming," he said. "It is clear that you have put thought into choosing them." Her father stepped forward. "Your Majesty, our family values respect and honesty. We wanted to convey our admiration for you and your service to the country." The king nodded. "I appreciate your words. It is always a pleasure to meet people who understand the importance of respect and kindness. These qualities are what make a family strong and communities better." Camilla felt warmth spreading in her chest. Even though they had faced a challenge at the gate, their persistence and honesty had brought them to this moment. She realized that courage, patience, and sincerity had opened a door that might otherwise have remained closed. The king then motioned toward the large windows that overlooked the palace gardens. "Would you like to see the gardens?" he asked. "They are a place of reflection and peace." Camilla's eyes lit up. "Yes, Your Majesty. That would be wonderful," she said politely. The family followed the king as he walked toward the windows. Outside, the garden stretched out beautifully. Flowers of every color were arranged in patterns that seemed to tell stories. Fountains sparkled in the sunlight, sending tiny rainbows into the air. Birds flew among the trees, filling the space with soft melodies. Camilla felt a deep sense of awe. She had never seen anything so peaceful and beautiful in her life. The king began to speak as they walked slowly through the gardens. "The gardens have been part of the palace for many generations," he said. "They are tended with care and dedication. I believe that beauty and order in our surroundings help people think clearly and act kindly." Camilla listened intently, her eyes scanning the flowers and fountains. She could feel the wisdom in the king's words. Every detail of the garden seemed meaningful, as if it held lessons in patience, care, and attention. She realized that the palace was more than just a place of wealth and power. It was a place of learning, respect, and responsibility. Her mother pointed out a small path lined with roses. "Look at how carefully the flowers are arranged," she said softly. "Everything here shows thoughtfulness and care." Camilla nodded. "It is amazing," she said. "It feels like the garden itself is welcoming us." The king smiled at her observation. "You have a good heart, Camilla. Notice things carefully and appreciate them. That is an important quality to carry in life." As they continued walking, the king asked them about their town and their daily lives. Camilla's father spoke about his work as a teacher and how he enjoyed helping students learn. Her mother talked about her bakery and the joy of serving others in the community. Camilla added her own thoughts, speaking about her love for reading, learning, and exploring new ideas. The king listened attentively, asking questions and encouraging them to share more. Camilla felt more at ease with every step. She realized that the king was not only wise but also genuinely interested in people's lives and stories. His kindness made it easier to speak, and she felt comfortable sharing her thoughts and dreams. After some time, they reached a quiet spot in the garden near a small fountain. The king gestured for them to sit on a bench nearby. "Let us rest for a while," he said. "There is no rush, and it is good to take time to enjoy these moments." Camilla sat down, her hands folded in her lap. She felt a mixture of nervousness and excitement slowly giving way to calm. The king continued to talk to them about the palace, the history of the gardens, and the importance of respect and kindness in every aspect of life. Camilla listened closely, absorbing every word. Her parents exchanged glances, proud of how their daughter was handling the situation. Camilla had faced a challenge at the gate, yet she had maintained her composure and shown respect throughout. It was a moment of growth for her, and her parents knew she would remember it forever. As the conversation continued, Camilla realized that this visit was more than a dream coming true. It was a lesson in patience, courage, and sincerity. Even though the royal guard had initially denied them entry, they had persisted politely, sought help, and presented themselves with honesty. That had made all the difference. The king finally stood and gestured toward the palace again. "Shall we return inside?" he asked. Camilla and her parents nodded. As they walked back, she noticed that the palace felt even more welcoming than before. She understood now that respect, thoughtfulness, and sincerity could open doors in ways that no force could block. Camilla felt a sense of pride and gratitude. She had met the king, presented her family's letter and gifts, and experienced the beauty of the palace and gardens. More importantly, she had learned the value of courage, honesty, and patience. As they returned to the grand hall, the king looked at them with a warm expression. "It has been a pleasure to meet you and your family," he said. "Remember always that respect, kindness, and sincerity are qualities that matter most no matter where life takes you." Camilla smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. She had faced a moment of uncertainty and turned it into an experience she would cherish forever. The palace had given her more than she had ever imagined, not just beauty and grandeur, but lessons in life, wisdom, and the importance of a kind heart. Her parents walked beside her, their hearts full of pride. Camilla knew that this visit would stay with her forever. It was not just a dream fulfilled, but a story of courage, respect, and sincerity that she would carry throughout her life. Camilla had never felt emotions so strongly in her life. Walking through the palace gardens, speaking with King Charles, and seeing the grandeur of the palace had filled her with awe. Yet, beneath the excitement, a deep feeling of relief and gratitude was growing in her heart. The challenge at the gate, the uncertainty, and the worry had all built up. Now standing in front of the king, Camilla realized just how much this moment meant to her family. They returned to the grand hall after walking through the gardens. The sunlight streamed through the tall windows, casting a golden glow across the polished floors. Camilla's parents followed her closely, sensing that she needed a moment to gather her thoughts. Her father gave her hand a gentle squeeze, and her mother offered an encouraging smile. Camilla felt her heart pounding. She had dreamed of meeting the king, but now that the moment was here, words seemed to fail her. She clutched the letter in her hand tightly. It represented all the love, respect, and admiration her family felt. She wanted the king to understand not just the words on the paper, but the feelings behind them. King Charles looked at her kindly. "Camilla, I can see how much this visit means to you. You and your family have shown great patience and respect. That matters greatly." Hearing the king speak so gently made Camilla's emotions rise. Her eyes began to well up with tears. She had tried to stay strong, but all the worry, hope, and relief that had built inside her suddenly poured out. "Your Majesty," she said softly, her voice trembling, "I never imagined that we would actually reach here. The journey to this moment has been difficult, but we never gave up. I just wanted to show respect and gratitude. Please forgive me if I am too emotional." The king stepped closer and placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. His presence was calm and comforting. "Camilla," he said, "there is no need to apologize. Showing your feelings honestly is a sign of courage and sincerity. It is perfectly natural to feel this way. Your emotions show the depth of your heart." Camilla felt her tears flow freely now. She looked at her parents, who smiled with pride. Her mother whispered softly, "Camilla, it is okay to show how you feel." "The king understands." Taking a deep breath, Camilla continued, "Your Majesty, when the guard did not let us in, I felt hopeless. I was afraid that our dream of visiting the palace would end there. But we did not give up. We asked for help politely, and then we were welcomed. That kindness, it means so much to us. I just wanted to say thank you, not just for allowing us here, but for being kind and understanding." King Charles listened with patience. His eyes reflected warmth and encouragement. "Camilla, your words show great respect and gratitude. You have handled every challenge with poise and sincerity. That is admirable." Camilla's father spoke next. "Your Majesty, it was never just about visiting the palace. We wanted to show our respect and appreciation. Seeing Camilla grow up with values of honesty, courage, and kindness makes this moment even more special. We are grateful that you have welcomed us today." The king nodded thoughtfully. "I am pleased to meet a family that values such qualities. It is a joy to see young people like Camilla who understand the importance of patience, respect, and sincerity. These are lessons that last a lifetime." Camilla wiped her tears and felt a sense of relief. She realized that even though the guard had initially denied them entry, persistence, honesty, and respect had brought them here. The challenge at the gate had made this moment even more meaningful. She had learned that true courage was not about being fearless, but about remaining respectful and sincere even in difficult situations. The king gestured for them to sit in a comfortable area near the center of the hall. Camilla's legs felt slightly weak, but she followed, guided by her parents' support. As they sat, King Charles spoke about the value of expressing emotions honestly. "Emotions are a sign of humanity," he said. "They connect us to each other. You have shown that respect and courage can coexist with kindness and sensitivity." Camilla felt the words touch her heart. She realized that her tears were not a weakness but a sign of strength. They expressed gratitude, relief, and respect all at once. She felt proud of herself for being able to share her feelings honestly. Her mother spoke softly. "Camilla, see how your sincerity has been received. It shows that honesty and respect are always noticed and appreciated." Camilla nodded. She felt a warm sense of pride and accomplishment. The king's response had made her understand that challenges could be overcome through patience, sincerity, and courage. She had faced uncertainty at the gate and turned it into an opportunity to demonstrate her values. King Charles then invited them to walk around the hall and view some of the palace's historical artifacts. Camilla followed slowly, still feeling emotional, but her excitement was growing again. She wanted to take in every detail, to remember everything about this remarkable experience. They passed through corridors filled with paintings, tapestries, and sculptures. The king explained the history behind each piece, sharing stories of past rulers, traditions, and events that shaped the kingdom. Camilla listened closely, fascinated by the stories and the dedication it took to preserve history. She felt honored to be part of this experience. As they walked, the king stopped near a large window overlooking the gardens again. "Camilla," he said, "moments like these are important because they remind us of values that last forever: patience, honesty, and respect. These are lessons that guide us through life. Camilla looked at the gardens, remembering the earlier walk through the flowers and fountains. She felt a deep connection to the palace and to the kindness shown by the king. "I will remember this forever," she said softly. The king smiled. "I am glad. It is not just about seeing the palace or meeting important people. It is about learning and growing through experiences. You have done that beautifully today." Camilla felt a new sense of confidence. The fear and nervousness that had filled her earlier were replaced with calm and gratitude. She realized that this visit was not just a dream fulfilled, but a life lesson. She had learned the importance of expressing emotions, remaining sincere, and appreciating kindness. Her father spoke quietly. "Camilla, your courage and honesty have made this moment special. We are proud of you." Camilla looked at her parents, feeling warmth and love. She had faced a challenge, expressed her emotions honestly, and learned important lessons along the way. The palace visit was more than she had imagined. It was a story of courage, respect, and the power of sincerity. King Charles then invited them to sit and enjoy refreshments, giving them a chance to rest after the emotional moments. They were served tea and small pastries, and Camilla felt her spirits lift further. She realized that every challenge, every worry, and every tear had led to this beautiful moment. As they sipped their tea, the king asked Camilla about her dreams and aspirations. She spoke about her love for learning, her curiosity about the world, and her desire to help others. The king listened attentively, nodding and encouraging her to follow her dreams with patience and courage. Camilla felt a deep sense of gratitude. The visit had taught her more than she had expected. It was not just about meeting the king or seeing the palace. It was about understanding values, emotions, and the importance of sincerity. She felt stronger, more confident, and more aware of the impact of kindness and courage. As the visit continued, Camilla realized that the initial obstacle at the gate had been an important part of her journey. It had taught her to stay calm, seek help politely, and express her feelings honestly. The challenge had made the emotional moment before the king even more meaningful. By the end of the visit, Camilla felt a sense of fulfillment she had never known. She had faced a challenge, expressed her emotions openly, and learned valuable lessons from one of the most important people in the country. The experience would stay with her forever, guiding her in life and reminding her of the power of patience, sincerity, and courage. Camilla knew that this emotional moment was a turning point. It was not just a memory of the palace or the king, but a story she would carry in her heart, a story of hope, respect, and the strength to face challenges with honesty and grace. The visit to the palace was coming to an end, but Camilla felt a mixture of happiness and reluctance. She wished the day could last forever, yet she knew they would carry the memories in their hearts for a lifetime. Walking through the grand hall one last time, she looked at the polished floors, tall windows, and golden chandeliers, trying to capture every detail in her mind. Her parents followed closely, sharing the same sense of awe and pride. King Charles accompanied them to the main hall, speaking gently. "It has been a pleasure to meet you and your family," he said. "Remember that the lessons learned today, the value of patience, respect, courage, and sincerity are far more important than the grandeur you have seen." Camilla nodded, feeling the weight of his words. They were more meaningful than anything else. "Thank you, Your Majesty," she said softly. "We will remember these lessons always." Her parents bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, we are grateful for your kindness and patience." "This visit will remain in our hearts forever," her father said. The king smiled. "I am pleased to hear that. Remember, the world is full of opportunities, and patience and sincerity will help you overcome any challenge. You have shown that already today." Camilla felt a warm feeling spread through her chest. The royal guard had initially denied them entry, but every obstacle had led to this incredible experience. She realized that sometimes challenges were not meant to stop people, but to show them the importance of determination and sincerity. As they walked toward the palace gates, attendants and staff waved politely, offering smiles and kind words. Camilla noticed the careful attention and hard work that went into every detail of the palace. From the flowers in the gardens to the polished floors and the historical artifacts, everything was maintained with care and thoughtfulness. She understood that the beauty of the palace came not only from its grandeur, but from the dedication and respect of the people who cared for it. Her mother gently took her hand. "Camilla, Today was more than a visit to the palace, she said. It was a lesson in patience, courage, and honesty. Never forget how important these values are. Camilla nodded, feeling the truth in her mother's words. I understand, Mother. I will always remember, she said. Her heart was full of gratitude and pride. The family reached the gates of the palace. The royal guard who had initially stopped them stood there, his expression now more neutral and respectful. Camilla paused for a moment and smiled politely. Thank you for your service and for helping us get here, she said. The guard nodded slightly. It was my duty. I am glad it worked out in the end, he replied. Camilla realized that even he played an important role in their journey. Without the initial obstacle, the experience of meeting the king and learning these lessons might not have been as meaningful. As the family stepped out of the palace, the sunlight of the afternoon greeted them warmly. The town felt familiar, yet it seemed different now. Camilla noticed things she had never paid attention to: the laughter of children playing, the colorful flowers in her neighborhood, and the simple joys that made life beautiful. The palace had shown her grandeur, but returning home reminded her of the value of simplicity and family. Her father spoke softly. Camilla, today was a reminder that dreams can come true when we stay patient, respectful, and sincere. Challenges may appear, but they can lead to growth and understanding. Camilla smiled and nodded. I will remember this always, Father. I learned so much today, not just about the palace, but about life and courage. Her mother hugged her gently. You have grown through this experience, Camilla. Your honesty, patience, and sincerity made this visit special. Keep these qualities with you always. As they walked back toward their home, Camilla's mind replayed the events of the day. She remembered the nervousness at the gate, the kind assistance of the attendant, the warmth and wisdom of the king, and the beautiful gardens filled with flowers and fountains. Each moment had taught her something valuable, and she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Camilla thought about the emotional moment she had shared with the king, the tears that had flowed and the words she had spoken. She realized that expressing emotions honestly was not a weakness but a sign of strength. It allowed her to connect with others, to show gratitude, and to embrace courage in the face of uncertainty. Her father looked at her with pride. You showed great courage today, Camilla. Not everyone can handle challenges with such grace. I am proud of you. Camilla blushed slightly, feeling a warm glow of pride. Thank you, Father. I could not have done it without you and Mother. You always guide me and give me strength. Her mother smiled, brushing a strand of hair from Camilla's face. And you gave us strength too, Camilla. Your courage and sincerity made this experience meaningful for all of us. Never forget that you have the ability to face challenges with honesty and kindness. The journey back home was quiet, but filled with reflection. Camilla looked out the window of their small car, seeing familiar streets and houses, yet everything felt different. The palace had shown her beauty and history, but her home had given her comfort and warmth. She understood that both were important in life, grand experiences and simple joys. As they reached their house, Camilla felt a sense of completion. The day had been long, emotional, and filled with lessons. She stepped out of the car, feeling the soft breeze and the familiar sounds of her town. It was comforting to be home, yet she carried the palace and the king's words in her heart. Camilla went to her room and carefully placed the letter and small gifts on her desk. She looked at them with pride, remembering the king's kind words and the lessons she had learned. The obstacles at the gate, the moments of doubt, and the courage to speak honestly had all led to this memory, a memory she would treasure forever. Her parents joined her, smiling. Camilla remembered today not just as a visit to the palace, but as a lesson in life, her father said. Patience, respect, courage, and sincerity will guide you through every challenge. Camilla nodded. I understand, Father. I will never forget this day. It has taught me so much, her mother added, and it will stay with you always. The experiences you have had, the emotions you felt, and the lessons you learned are treasures more valuable than anything else. Camilla felt a deep sense of gratitude. The palace visit had given her memories, wisdom, and a stronger heart. She had faced a challenge, expressed her feelings honestly, and learned the importance of patience and sincerity. She knew that these lessons would guide her in life, helping her to face challenges with courage and kindness. That evening, as the sun set and cast a warm glow over their small town, Camilla sat quietly in her room. She reflected on the day's journey, the emotions she had felt, and the lessons she had learned. She realized that every moment had meaning. Even the obstacle at the gate had played a role in shaping the experience, teaching her resilience and the value of honesty. Camilla understood that life would bring challenges, just as the royal guard had initially denied them entry. Yet she also knew that patience, sincerity, and courage could overcome obstacles. She had learned to express her emotions honestly, appreciate kindness, and value the lessons behind every experience. Her parents called her for dinner, and she joined them with a calm and happy heart. They shared stories about the visit, laughed about small moments, and celebrated the courage and honesty that had brought them this extraordinary experience. Camilla felt connected to her family in a deeper way, knowing that together they had faced challenges and turned them into meaningful memories. As night fell, Camilla prepared for bed. She looked once more at the gifts and letter on her desk, remembering the king's warm smile and the beautiful gardens. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The palace visit had been more than a dream fulfilled. It had been a journey of courage, respect, sincerity, and emotional growth. Before sleeping, Camilla whispered softly to herself, "I will never forget today. I will carry these lessons with me always. I will face challenges with courage, patience, and honesty, and I will always remember the kindness that made this day possible." With a peaceful heart and a mind full of memories, Camilla drifted into sleep. She dreamed not only of palaces and grandeur, but also of the lessons she had learned, the courage she had shown, and the sincerity that had guided her through the day. She knew that these values would continue to guide her for the rest of her life. The next morning, Camilla woke up feeling strong and hopeful. She looked out at her garden and the bright sunlight, remembering the palace, the king, and the journey that had brought her here. She felt ready for anything life would bring, knowing that patience, honesty, and courage would always guide her. Camilla's family gathered for breakfast, sharing stories of the visit and expressing their gratitude once more. They felt proud of how Camilla had handled the challenge, expressed her emotions honestly, and learned important lessons along the way. The palace had given them memories to treasure forever. Camilla smiled as she looked at her parents. Together, they had turned a day filled with obstacles into a story of hope, courage, and respect. And she knew that this story would remain with them, guiding their hearts and inspiring them for years to come.